Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm very happy to have a fellow distinguished panelists. So let me just kind of do a quick introduction of our distinguished panelists. Dr. Nigel Mehdi. Dr. Mehdi works in the intersection of information technology and built environment and urban sustainability. He teaches at Oxford on the Sustainable Urban Development Program and the Software Engineering Program. And he was previously visiting fellow in Spacious Economic Research Center and the London School of Economics and visiting scholar at Worcester College, Cambridge. Christine Duquet. Christine is a renowned global consulting executive and leader, and distinguished for expertise in data, AI, customer experience, as well as best-selling author of Walking in My Shoes, Shattering Glass Ceiling in Corporate America. She serves on both the Oxford University Kellogg Commission on Sustainability and the Dean's Leadership Council from University of California.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about more general topics to do with AI, particularly jobs, GDP, gross domestic product, and the impact on skills, not specifically for Korea, but also for Korea. As has already been said, artificial intelligence is changing the way government, business, and society works. The impact on public policy and business is wide-ranging, and we don't really know what the future holds. If I had a crystal ball, I wouldn't be here. I'd be on my yacht in the Bahamas, owning a private island. So we don't know what the future holds. We can still make some informed analysis, and just to keep the theme of what a big impact it is, Google boss says, it is in the Times of London, AI is still in its early stages. He views it as the most profound technology that humanity will ever develop and work on. AI is a general purpose technology. One of the reasons why it's very different to most previous digital technologies is the general purpose nature of it. The personal computer, the digital computer, they were both general purpose technologies. They can be used for lots of different things. Your computer can do 100 different things. Your iPhone, I don't know how many applications I've got installed on there now, but my electric kettle, which I plug in at home, I can boil water with it. That's all I can do. So this general purpose nature of the technology is one of the special characteristics that really needs to be understood to realize why the impact of AI is so far-reaching. So IDC, International Data Corporation, say artificial intelligence is going to contribute $19.9 trillion US to the global economy up until 2030, and it's going to steer 3.5% of global GDP. So each year we're going to get global GDP growth of 3.5% from AI. Now that's really important because governments around the world are seeking to maintain year-on-year annual global GDP growth, and for the last 10 or so years it's been difficult to get growth above 2 or 3%. So if AI is going to contribute an additional 3.5%, that's a very material increase in the level of GDP. A country like Korea, which is built on the success of its economy, the Han River miracle was referred to earlier. It may or may not be over, but maybe AI is the chance to reinvigorate that miracle. You've moved from being one of the least developed countries in Africa and Asia to the 32nd in the world, ranked by per capita GDP. GDP is gross domestic product. And throughout this remarkable industrialization, key emphases have been put on technology, innovation, and education. And these have been driven through very wise policy decisions by the government, stimulus in some cases, policies that allow businesses to grow and that have created the environment which has allowed Korea to become the country that it is today. What's interesting from this IDC report is the analysis that every dollar spent on business-related AI solutions and services generates US dollars 4.6 into the global economy. Now that's already been the case and proven in the case of public infrastructure. Countries that are successful have very large public infrastructure programs. In Busan, you've got this massive port. That's public infrastructure. Airports are public infrastructure. I came down on the express train today from Seoul. That's public infrastructure. These infrastructure investments have been shown to create permanent increases in dollar GDP far greater than the single dollar that's spent on the infrastructure. AI is going to have the same effect. So the increase is determined by three different things. Increased spending on AI solutions and services. That's what most of us are seeing today. That's what most of us know is happening in the AI area, is billions of dollars being spent by a few large tech companies and ripples in the pond, some companies going wider, to get into the race for artificial intelligence. Then there's the economic stimulus amongst AI adopters. Firms that adopt AI, I'm not talking about the tech firms that are delivering the underlying infrastructure, but firms that adopt AI are gaining in terms of their revenue and their revenue opportunities. And then there's an impact along the whole supply chain. So this 3.x% annual growth in GDP caused by AI is as a result of these three things. Now, technology is one thing in Korea, innovation is the other. You're in the top 10 countries for innovation in 2023. Keeping up with the innovation is going to be critical. The question is, how do you keep up with the innovation? And tech giants are investing a lot of money, actually in the billions of dollars. The landscape's completely changed. The current investment that OpenAI are seeking, that's the authors of ChatGPT, is 140 times greater than the biggest venture capital investment that was made last year. One single investment they're seeking is 140 times more than the largest single venture capital investment last year. That shows how the world is changing, and this is a big money game. So the business models are leading to capital intensity, which is completely different to that which we've experienced before. And it's also changing the nature of the tech firms. These firms have enjoyed actually low capital investments for a long run period, and they've had supernormal, unusually high profits, and that's changing. Here's an extract from the Investors Chronicle, a UK investment journal. So for the past decade, we've seen a few unusually profitable companies dominated by specific economic effects, network effects, capital-light models, which leads them to have bigger profits, and this generates extraordinary cash flows. That's why Apple has more in the bank than the US government. But there's a cloud on the horizon here for investment returns, which was also talked about earlier by our former Prime Minister. AI is transforming these companies into capital-intensive businesses. And although there's a lot of excitement about what is being done, this could lead to structurally lower returns over the coming years. The returns from investing in Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, Amazon, these are described by investors as gravity-defying returns. They're not the returns that you can get from investing in any other things. Those returns are under threat because of the extent of investment. Here's a chart which just shows, I'm not going to go into the exact figures, but on a log scale, we see each of these new open, large language models being developed. We see exponential growth in costs to develop them. So the costs are, I'm going to say, spiraling out of control. Sam Altman said that he can't have too much money. There's no sum of money that's too much for people to invest in OpenAI, because either it's a bottomless pit or it's a gold mine. That's the unknown thing. That's where we need the crystal ball. I'm going to move on to talk about work, future of work. Here's a report I did with a couple of colleagues at Oxford. And this chart here shows how this is a survey of CEOs, C-suite executives around the world, North America, Europe, and Asia, and it shows the sentiment for 2030. over the next decade, how transformative will AI and machine learning be for your business? And the two green bars are the relevant ones. So 88% of all C-suite executives who are surveyed think that it's going to be extremely transformative. That's not a surprise, but that shows that businesses are preparing themselves for this change. So I'm just going to wrap up with a couple of slides. So jobs and widespread automation. So AI and automation is going to dominate many industries. It's going to take over a vast number of routine and repetitive tasks. That's a good thing. But jobs rely heavily on manual labor, data processing. Simple decision-making are going to be replaced by intelligent systems. And AI is not just going to displace jobs, it's going to create new ones. And there's going to be a need for professionals who can develop, monitor, and manage advanced AI systems. So we're going to see some job losses, and we're going to see some gains. And that's always the case with new technologies. The question with AI is whether we're going to see more losses than we see gains. Previous technologies have created more jobs than have been lost. If you're in the candle manufacturing business, when electric light came to the fore, a lot of candle manufacturers went out of business, but millions of people are employed in the electricity industry, generating electricity, installing electrical systems. This conference has probably had one or two electricians, distribution networks. So the question is whether the gainers will outweigh the losers, and there's a possibility with AI that they won't. And then last slide I'll put up is about lifelong learning. The fact that new job roles are likely to be more complex, require a different set of skills. So the basic engineering skills, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, STEM skills that have driven this economy over the last 50 years are going to change, and we need a different set of skills. We need those skills. They're a given. They're a baseline thing. But we also need softer skills like initiative. AI can't take initiative. It can't make decisions in the way a human takes initiative. And creative thinking, very difficult for AI, and analysis at a level which is at the moment beyond the capability of AI. Okay, thank you.
On the jobs and the future of AI, I am look forward to listening to Christine. And I know Christine will share some insights about a global perspective on that. So Christine, time is yours.
Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and fellow AI enthusiasts, it's an honor to be here today at the World Knowledge Forum in Busan, a city of the forefront of technological innovation. We are at a critical juncture in the global landscape of AI, where its potential to revolutionize business practices, improve lives, and reshape society is undeniable. As we embark on this journey into the future of AI, it's crucial to remember that AI is more than just a buzzword. It's a powerful tool that demands a strategic and responsible approach. I'm particularly honored to be joined today by my esteemed partner, Mr. Enrique Aceves. He's the co-founder and managing director of Alonsera, an expert in the field. He has a track record of successfully operationalizing AI and generative AI for Fortune 100 and 500 companies, particularly in highly regulated industries. And he's a master at turning AI potential into tangible results. The insights I'm sharing with you today is a collaboration of our experiences together in the field, working alongside many clients together, as well as our team at Alonsera. So if you have a second, I encourage everyone to please talk to Mr. Enrique, since he has a wealth of knowledge and expertise in this field. But let's dive into this, right? The true strength of AI lies not only in its algorithms, but in its ability to enhance human experiences and create a more equitable future. As we really look at the global AI landscape, there's a lot going on. The market's projected to surpass about 500 billion by 2030, and that number keeps going around. And we're seeing the leading markets as USA, China, and Europe. I think the biggest thing to get out of this is that data is the new currency, and it's a race to dominate the AI ecosystem, and that is the new frontier. So as we start to think about navigating, the future of AI, one of the most significant challenges we face is the impact of AI in the workforce. And this is something that I live through every single day, particularly working with enterprise clients and big technology partners. While AI promises greater efficiency and cost savings, it also raises questions about the potential for job displacement, which we've talked about today. Here's what I've learned. It's important to approach AI implementation with a human-centered focus, ensuring that AI complements human capabilities and opens up new opportunities for skilled workers. How do we combat this, right? There's something that we need to get right, and it's part of the implementation. We need to think through talent and ethics along every step of the implementation. So let's focus on how do we unlock the potential of AI with a human-centric approach. We need to really think about starting with business objectives and not technology. This is where big companies fail all the time. They want to implement AI, but they cannot get to the use cases. My first question, as always, what are the use cases? What are you trying to solve for? What are the real-world business problems that you're solving for? And that's really important to define, because it's not simply for adopting AI for the sake of using AI. It's really about what business problems are we solving. The second most important thing in any enterprise is to foster collaboration, to integrate AI into your organization's culture by fostering collaboration between departments. This is not a story about IT or the business. This is about the business, IT, finance, human resources, and every single organization in a company working together to have those different diverse perspectives to the table to successfully implement AI and make sure that everyone adopts to the new technology. The third is prioritizing robust data management. This is where a lot of enterprises get stuck today, and where really the maturity in the market is not quite there. If we think about the spending of the enterprise budgets this year, the Fortune 500 companies only budgeted 1% in AI for this fiscal year in 2024. Majority of that spending is focused on cybersecurity, data foundations, and customer relationship management systems, which makes a lot of sense. You cannot leapfrog into generative AI if you do not have your data foundation correct. Last but not least, is really important to embrace a human-centric approach as you implement AI. Viewing AI as a tool to augment human intelligence and capabilities, not to replace them. And that's a philosophy that needs to be carried throughout. That's the kind of philosophy that's really going to help you build the AI workforce of the future. The demand for top AI talent is fierce, and attracting and retaining skilled individuals is critical for success. And here are 4 things that are happening today that should be adopted to ensure that there is a really strong workforce of the future. One is building AI centers of excellence. We've seen this happen with academia and large companies. And partnering with academia is a current theme that we're seeing across technology in a really great way to really think about building the workforce of the future. And upskilling current employees is another really important thing to think about. Investing in training programs to equip existing employees with the skills needed to thrive in a digital environment. That's addressing the workforce that we need for now. But addressing the real workforce that we really need for the future, we need to go way back and start in early education and invest in early STEM education. I think that's a really, really important thing to think about AI and digital fluency all the way from the beginning of early education. As you start to think about implementing AI, we talked about strategic implementation and those imperatives. We talked about talent and the human-centered design. We need to also think about the ethical frameworks and regulations at the same time. These are the 3 things we need to get right in order to implement AI. I won't drain these, but these are the 4 pillars of AI and ethical frameworks and regulations. Transparency, accountability, addressing bias and promoting fairness, and safeguarding data privacy and security. These 4 themes are prominent when you talk about AI and ethics, and it's also what we as consumers are demanding with all our companies in order to build trust. And building consumer trust is number 1 to adopting AI. So we think a little bit about South Korea and the path of the role of the global AI landscape in Korea. I think South Korea stands at a critical crossroads in the global AI landscape. It has the potential to become a leading player in AI innovation, leveraging its strengths in manufacturing, healthcare, the smart cities projects, electronics. I think there are really 5 things that South Korea should really look at in order to leapfrog as leaders in AI. One is we talked about leveraging your existing strengths. We talk a lot about Korea's power in electronics, automation, and a lot of leading industries, but you're also the #1 provider of semiconductors. Korea always focuses on the hardware, but not the software. And there's a really great opportunity here to really start to implement the software in the industries where you lead, to get consumers to adopt to AI faster, so that you build that consumer trust and be able to kind of leapfrog into using AI at scale. The second really piece here is fostering global collaboration. And this is why we're so excited to be here today talking to you, that being able to leapfrog into this will require partnerships with international technology leaders to develop local ecosystems that accelerate AI growth. The exciting part, no one has quite figured it out, but we need to stand together globally and foster these collaborations in order to move forward. Focus on sectors with impact. Again, there's so many great things in Korea that you can really focusing on, prioritizing on sectors that improve the quality of life, like healthcare, urban development. I think you're already in the forefront of looking at this with smart cities, and then looking at all the other leading industries like servicing and manufacturing that all are about improving human life. I think that gives you an edge, a niche, so to speak, in the AI landscape. Last but these here, we talk about prioritizing ethical considerations. I think developing that ethical guidelines and regulations to ensure responsible AI development and deployment is critical, and being a leader in that thought leadership in the world is an area where Korea can also leapfrog in the global environment. Last but not least, it's really important to secure government support and funding to accelerate growth and policies. This is a top-down approach, bottoms-up approach, as you really start to think about this. And I think that's the power of what we have in this room in the World Knowledge Forum today, as we actually have both government, technology, and both commercial and public and private companies really having this conversation. And this is really, really exciting. If I'm going to leave you with 4 things around a call to action, around the human potential of AI. One is to really think about the investment in talent. I think it's really important to really think about the education and prioritizing STEM education and creating those opportunities to reskill individuals so that they can contribute into the AI landscape. The second is to encourage responsible AI deployment and really thinking again about the concepts of the ethical frameworks and regulations, and putting the human-centered focus as you start to strategically implement AI. Third is, again, fostering international collaboration. And last, again, I can't put a huge emphasis enough, is around empowering a human-centric future and ensuring that AI technologies enhance lives, promote societal well-being, and inspire a more equitable and sustainable future. I want to put an emphasis on identifying co-pilot and augmentation opportunities, ensuring that less time spent on mundane tasks and that improve ability to further develop specialized skills. I think that's a really great potential of how AI can really help. I know I talk fast. I'm also American. You probably didn't understand everything that I said. So let me make this a little bit easier for you. I wrote a paper with my colleagues, as well as the researchers at the University of California, Irvine, around all these different pieces, and you can dive a little bit deeper. Please feel free to download the paper. We developed this with a deep commitment to innovation and fostering a more equitable and sustainable future. And this paper really delves deeper into the concepts I've highlighted in the past 10 minutes. Together, we can ensure that AI is a force for good, shaping a brighter, more inclusive future for all. Thank you. 감사합니다.